Everyone, so today I wanted to make a quick video on is keep inventory cheating in Minecraft, because this has been something that I've gotten in the last video I made a couple of weeks ago. I made a video on why I play on peaceful mode, and that sparked a lot of debate amongst people saying whether or not, what counts as cheating in Minecraft. Is peaceful mode cheating in Minecraft? What is actually cheating in Minecraft? So with this video I'm basically going to be going over that. I'm going to be discussing that because I think it's quite an interesting topic. I'm sure there's a lot of people that play Minecraft with keep inventory on, or that play in a lot of modes which would be I guess defined as cheating. First of all, we need to actually define what cheating is in Minecraft. What does it actually mean to cheat in Minecraft? Because a lot of people might think, well, cheating is anything that disables achievements. You can use that argument in Bedrock Edition, in Console Edition, and that would essentially mean any of this, right? The cheats would be this part of the game. So enabling cheats, so disabling daylight cycle, keep inventory is in there, and that would be considered a cheat technically by Minecraft standards. Technically, it disables achievements, so it's cheating. But the thing is, Minecraft Bedrock isn't the only version of the game, because you've also got other versions such as Java, which is, just as popular, if not more popular, especially most PC people play on Java. So that's a big deal as well. And on Java, it's simply game rules. There's no real cheats. You always keep your advancements no matter what you do in the world, pretty much. So there, it's a bit more difficult to define. And the thing is, we need to actually understand peaceful mode from the perspective of, what does it actually do to the game? And the thing that it does to the game is, quite simply, when you die, you don't lose any of your stuff, which doesn't sound a lot like cheating at first. It doesn't sound too bad, but you also have to consider that it kind of breaks a lot of the core game mechanics. For example, when you're fighting the Ender Dragon, usually if you're not in keep inventory mode, you're fighting the Ender Dragon. If you fall into the pit, you lose all your stuff. You can't gain it back, and essentially, if you're fighting the Ender Dragon, there's no way you can go back to the overworld until you defeat the Ender Dragon, pretty much. Unless I'm forgetting something, but you literally cannot make it back unless you defeat the Ender Dragon. And so what this means essentially is, if you're in keep inventory mode, if you enable keep inventory mode and you're fighting the Ender Dragon, if you decide you just want to go back to the overworld, you can literally just jump down the void and go back. There's no difference when you've defeated the Ender Dragon. There's no difference between entering the end portal or just jumping off the void, which kind of is a bit, the game isn't really intended to be played that way. So if you define it by that standard, it's technically cheating by the game's standard of how it's supposed to be played. But we're talking about Minecraft here, which there's no real definition of how Minecraft is supposed to be played. I guess in a, standard vanilla survival, then the main way to play Minecraft would just be play it on survival, probably easy, normal, or hard mode, maybe even hardcore. That would be what a traditional survival would be. No mods, no cheats, nothing like that. Just keeping everything the same. But the thing is, what even is a legit survival? That's the main thing. And to me, a legit survival would not include keep inventory. In my opinion, it would not include keep inventory. The thing is, keep inventory completely alters the game. It completely, takes away from dying in the game. It doesn't feel like a threat anymore. So, does that mean that it's wrong to play with keep inventory on? I wouldn't say so. I don't think there's any wrong way to play Minecraft. But what I would say is that claiming that you're playing on a legit survival with keep inventory on probably isn't very truthful, if that makes sense. Whether you're on Java or Bedrock, it doesn't really matter. Now, I don't know if that's a bit of an extreme take or if it's quite reasonable, but I would say that keep inventory, it changes the game way too much, and it disables achievements for a reason. It's because it makes the game a lot easier, to the point where you would be able to get all the achievements a lot easier. And that's why peaceful doesn't disable achievements, because peaceful mode doesn't entirely do that in the same way. One thing to keep in mind, peaceful does make the game a lot easier because it doesn't spawn enemies anymore. However, that being said, when you're playing on peaceful mode, you can't get any of the enemy drops, or at least you can't get a lot of them. You can get quite a few of them trading with villagers, But a lot of enemy drops you can't get reliably. You can't also go to the end and fight the Ender Dragon. You can't get Ender Eyes, I'm pretty sure, in any actually realistic way. You used to be able to do it, I think, in older versions of Minecraft, but you're not really able to do that anymore. So yeah, peaceful mode does feel a bit incomplete. What I mean by that, it feels like there should be more done with peaceful mode to make sure that people can play in peaceful mode and still get everything done in the game, still do everything as it should be. Of course, you can switch back and forth from peaceful to, normal, easy, hard mode, but if you want to play exclusively on peaceful mode, you basically can't beat the game. You can't really do everything in the game if that's what you want to do, if you want to only play on peaceful mode. In keep inventory mode, you can do everything in the game. It just disables achievements if you're on Bedrock, if you're on even the Legacy console editions, I'm pretty sure, with host privileges. It still disables the trophies, achievements, whatever you want to call them, whether you're on PlayStation or Xbox. So I guess by Minecraft's definition, keep inventory is cheating. And peaceful mode isn't for some reason. But what I would like to say, at the end of the day, if you prefer playing on peaceful mode, if you prefer playing on keep inventory on, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. However, claiming to play that you're playing on a legit, survival world, no cheats, no nothing, just standard survival world, it is a bit, I would say, not truthful, because it's a lot harder to play without keep inventory on. You have the threat of losing your stuff, which people don't have when they're playing with keep inventory on. It's a lot different. You could make the same argument for peaceful mode, in the sense that you're not fighting enemies, so the game is a lot easier. But you still have to work for stuff that you get. The point is exploring caves in peaceful mode, for example, it's a lot easier because you don't have enemies spawning in. And so, by that standard, is it cheating? Possibly. Depends on who you ask. Again, it's quite a difficult thing to actually... you can't really define what cheating is in Minecraft because it's a sandbox. At the end of the day, it's quite difficult to make such a big statement saying something is definitively cheating or isn't definitively cheating. That's the main issue, basically. Now, I've actually never played on keep inventory myself. I used to play on keep inventory when I used to play on the PS3 version of Minecraft about 9 or 10 years ago, but I don't really play with keep inventory anymore. And the main reason is that it kind of took away from the fun of the game for me. And what I mean by that is the fact that I didn't have the fear of losing all my stuff made me play a little bit too sort of openly. Without keep inventory, I play a lot more conservatively. I play with the threat of losing my resources. I put, valuable stuff in my chests and whatnot, because there's a chance that I can lose everything that I have on me. Now, granted, the addition of totems of undying in Minecraft kind of take away from everything like that. You can farm them pretty easily. You can do raids constantly on your village, and you actually get more totems of undying if you're doing the raids and whatnot in hard mode rather than easy or normal mode. I believe you get 5 from hard mode, maybe 3 or 2 from normal mode, and I think it's either 1 or even 0 on easy mode. So you definitely get way more totems of undying if you do the raids on hard mode, so I definitely recommend you do that. Does it ruin the game? Well, that's a discussion for another video, probably. Does it ruin hardcore mode? Because you can technically die in hardcore mode if you have a totem of undying. No, that's a different kind of discussion. What I would say is, cheating, first of all, if something's in the game and it's, intended to be in the game, if it was put in the game by the developer, I wouldn't call that cheating in the first place. I wouldn't really call that cheating. So even keep inventory, even though it's technically a cheat in the sense that you're not playing a legit survival, it's not cheating to the point where you should be shamed for playing in that way. It's a Minecraft world at the end of the day, but it is quite fun to have these discussions about, what would be considered cheating in Minecraft. But overall, there's a lot of different ideas when it comes to cheating and what it means. If you're using like an X-ray tool, for example, would that be considered cheating? I would say yes, because you're putting something into the game that shouldn't be in the game originally, and you're using it for your own benefit. Now, that being said, there's a lot of mods in Minecraft A lot of them even make the game harder. There's a lot of, even on Bedrock, there's a lot of add-ons, there's a lot of marketplace stuff. And so it's kind of a difficult discussion, again, because Minecraft is a sandbox game. So there's no real proper way to play Minecraft. But obviously, if you're claiming you're playing on a vanilla survival but you're using mods, you're using other stuff added into the game, you're using keep inventory, stuff like that, I would say it's a bit, I would say it's a bit not right, if that makes sense. You're not technically being truthful in that sense, but it doesn't mean you're playing the game wrong. It doesn't mean you're not supposed to play the game that way, if that makes sense. So that would be my thoughts, I would say, on the sort of keep inventory, on cheats in general in Minecraft, or playing Minecraft in different ways. But let me know down below your own thoughts on this discussion. It's quite a kind of controversial thing to talk about in Minecraft, but if you do disagree, just let me know down below in the comments. At the end of the day, it is, you know, it's not a super important discussion. It's just something that everyone's going to kind of disagree on and have different views on. A lot of people are quite extreme in what is considered a you know, cheating or not cheating, what is a legit survival, and a lot of people are completely the opposite in the extremity of that, and you know, they just think, well, if you're playing the game, it's legit, there's no wrong way to play the game. And I would agree with that, there's no wrong way to play the game. But then again, you know, if you're making a YouTube video, for example, and you're using X-ray tools and you're not showing that, and you're like using keep inventory, using creative mode, it's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit not so legit, you know, in that sense, if you're not actually showing what you're doing. But it is quite a difficult, quite a complex discussion at the end of the day. But I hope you'll enjoy it nonetheless. I hope this video was enjoyable, and make sure you like and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you all in the next video.